I'm Stefan Holt, and this is News 4 Now for Tuesday, October 30th. First, we'll take a quick look at the weather. It's going to be clear and cool tonight, lows in the upper 40s. Halloween shaping up to be a beautiful day tomorrow. Now let's get to the news. And Giants backup quarterback Kyle Lauletta is facing felony charges after a traffic stop in New Jersey. Police say Lauletta was driving his Jaguar dangerously near the team's practice facility in Weehawken this morning. He allegedly made an illegal turn and nearly hit a traffic officer. Lauletta was arrested on multiple charges, including resisting arrest. Giants coach Pat Shurmur called the arrest very disappointing. The president and the first lady visited Pittsburgh this afternoon as funerals began for the victims of last weekend's synagogue shooting. Services for Dr. Jerry Rubinowitz and brothers Cecil and David Rosenthal were held today. They were 3 of the 11 people killed at the Tree of Life synagogue on Saturday. President Trump and the First Lady planned to comfort the community, but critics and even the city's mayor had asked him not to come. Others want to focus on healing. There's
a lot of politics right now, and there's a lot of discussion about what to blame and who to blame, because it's just easy to look for easy. We want to find an answer. Why? Why did this happen to us, right? Why? And I don't think there's an easy answer.
One of America's most notorious mobsters has been found dead. James Whitey Bulger was killed at a federal prison in West Virginia 1 day after he was transferred there. Bulger was serving 2 life terms after being convicted on a slew of charges, including 11 murders. The Boston Globe is reporting that a fellow inmate with mafia ties is being investigated in the 89-year-old's death. Take a look at these guys. Police say they ambushed and robbed a dominatrix inside of a Long Island City hotel. She thought it was a client who was knocking on her door at the Ramada Inn, but when she opened the door, police say 4 men pushed their way inside to the room. They bound her with duct tape, held her at gunpoint, and stole her cash, credit cards, and cell phone. Finally, if you ride the L train, you're going to want to mark your calendar. The line's dreaded shutdown will officially begin on April 27th. We've known it would happen in April, but we didn't have the exact date until now. The L train will be shut down for 15 months to repair tunnel damage left from Superstorm Sandy 6 years ago. That's all for News 4 Now. Stick around after this video ends for a report on the new safety measures in place a year after the city's deadliest terror attack since 9/11. I'm Stefan Holt. Thanks for checking in.
It is hard to convince New Yorkers like Lisa Hardy that hundreds of new metal bollards, like these outside the Barclays Center, will stop terrorism in its tracks.
You're just putting another obstacle for them to get around. If they're going to do something, they're going to find a way.
But NYPD commanders said a state and city approach of hardening soft targets has made a difference.
The initial step is usually concrete or the Jersey barriers, and then as we move through it, we try to put up bollards.
That's right. You can now see concrete Jersey barriers filling gaps where cars used to be able to pull onto the curb along the West Side Highway. Eventually, the city will spend $50 million to replace those with 1,500 smaller metal bollards. Less of an eyesore, but still able to stop a car like that wild driver in Times Square.
Take a look, New York!
And take a look at these brand new concrete barriers on the crowded pedestrian path of the Brooklyn Bridge.
We've noticed a significant change in New York. We feel safe.
There are lots of examples of hardened targets right next to softer targets. Brand new barriers on this side of Park Row at the entrance to the Brooklyn Bridge, while over here, easy enough to see that these crowds remain vulnerable to traffic who could just turn onto the sidewalk.
People who want to do harm can do harm all the time, everywhere.
And that's why Gersh Kuntzman, a cyclist and writer for Streets blog, which advocates bike and pedestrian safety, says the city overreacted.
What these bollards do is give a false sense of security and, in fact, make the cyclist and the pedestrian community feel less safe.
But City Hall is convinced it's more safe, 1 year after a terrorist found a weakness and took 8 lives. In Lower Manhattan, Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.